No matter what happened yesterday, no matter the score that a bunch of the guys ended up, no matter how many guys got injured, we're here. 866 this week, overall rank of 62, so firmly in the top 100. Made massive moves this week from 100 down to 62. And I know that I'm going to be ahead of a lot of the guys in the top bunch. I was having a look at the amount of trades a lot of people had used even before they calculated how many used in round 14 on NRL Fantasy Statistics. Here, for example, it tells you how many trades used. So you can have a look at all the top 100 teams and it'll give you an idea of where they're at in trades. And obviously it will update in a few days following round 14 as well. And I know a lot of guys that have already used like 31 trades before round 14. They probably use a couple more. So they're sitting with like anywhere between 3 and 6. And then you take out Cleary and you take out everyone like that. And we'll definitely be getting past a lot of those guys. And obviously how I trade and how my squad goes will determine how quickly that happens, I'd say. Because, if you run out of trades by like round 16, 17, you're going to be in a lot of strife. Especially for round 19, I would say as well. With everything that's going on, it's a full-on time of year, that's for sure. 866, ended up a very good score. And thankfully, obviously missed out on the Cleary captaincy. It wasn't a crazy amount of points. It's obviously an extra 47 in the end. So, that still sits me at, if I was to captain Cleary, it still sits me at 819, which would still be a decent score. But Cook traded in. Obviously, you would have hoped for Turpin, but, we'll take Cook in that one. DeBellin, the 39. Most people had him. Tohu Harris at 51, Horsburgh 46. So the people that kind of had Horsburgh and Tapine went killer last week, and then 51 and 46 wasn't as special, obviously. Anyone that missed out on Sean Johnson was a bit of a killer. Obviously, my big win here was Robson over Grant, so plus 16 on that one. Most people have at least one of them. He beat Tanner Boyd as well for anyone who had just him. Or you've got Cook obviously with 51 there. Manu Lemuelu weren't great, but Johnson and Tedesco were the two big wins for the squad this week. Most people have Buller as well, so 70 for Teddy with some good price rises as well. Is exactly what we wanted. We made 18k from Tommy Talau. What a time to be alive. Alapu's up, Cookstar big time. Drinkwater up as well. So a lot of guys doing great. We've obviously got the Dylan Brown situation in my squad. So Brown, DeBellin, obviously we're not sure what's happening with Dillbags at the moment, but DeBellin and then Cleary there. The big issues in the squad currently. Was a little bit annoyed with Helam Lukey, but we spoke about him in that previous video. Maybe I can't trade him out. I do want someone like Bateman or IPAP in the side. Be able to trade one of them in would be delightful. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, I'm sure I definitely can do it, but will I do it? With Lukey and the Arrow being my 2 round 16 edges, I'm currently sitting with 1 middle for round 16, and that's Hopgood. So thankfully he should likely be there. But we need 2 mids there, and we're currently sitting with Drinkwater, Buller, and then is that all we've got? And then Talau if I want to in the wing fullback, and I have Manu and Billy Smith as the centers if I want to play it. If I want to play that one there, Robson the hooker. Edges are fine. Halves were going to be fine, so we might have to do something about that. But Oluwapu and Brown was that one, so we might have to do something with Brown there on that one. So basically, if everything went as planned, DeBellin wasn't going to play anyway. Cleary was not going to be there, so we would have had 11 coming into this week before trades. So not the worst result ever for setting ourselves up for round 16. I think getting a good score in this round 15 is going to be tough without multiple trades, considering, I'm not expecting Tommy Talau to come out and get 38 again. You've got Alapu and Billy Smith, who I'm not banking on big scores from. And then, so you got those 3 guys. Then got 3 Cowboys players. There's 6, and they've got 3 that are likely going to be out in Brown, DeBellin, and also Cleary. So that's 9 out of my 21. So it leaves me with 12 guys that I'm confident with. Liero being like my worst player, and then like Lemuelu, for example. But so we'll probably have to make 3 trades this week. I'm sitting at 10, but I just want to show you the graph here, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, all my trades are there as well. You can look up everyone in their trade history, guys, if you want to want to see if someone's a decent player, if they've made some cool trades, or yourself. Go to the team analyzer at the top of footystatistics.com and type in your team name, and it will come up, and then you can just have a list of the top 100 teams, which makes it easy as well. So my graph is so cool. This makes me very excited every time I see this. 18,668, round 1. 35,657 is so bad. Sorry if you're there right now. It's obviously not a position you want to be in. And then round 3, we got down to 24,500. A big improvement. Round 4 down to 4,200. Then we got to 1,286 in round 5. So massive improvement there. And then basically every week from there, we've improved. Apart from this one here from round 7 to 8, we went back 60. And big improvements from there. 367, 211, 262 back a little bit. 306 back a little bit again, then down straight to 100 in round 13, and now 62 here. So very, very cool rank history. Shows that you can start really bad and still get all the way there. Usually what we saw from the guys that won was that they were very quickly in the top 1,000. They either started in the top 1,000 or they're about 2,000 to start. And then by round 2 or round 3, they were very clearly in the top 500. And then in the top 50, by round 4 or 5. And I was sitting at, 1,200 by round 5. So, yeah, if I can get anywhere near that top 10 from that start, I think it shows that anyone can do it, which is great. And you obviously, I'm giving you all of my advice and taking it on myself for the most part. A few spots at the start there, if I made clear mistakes with guys that I played instead of, picking... playing Tommy Talau, instead of playing Alamotti, I played Tommy Talau. Those things that cost me like 30, 40 points, would put me in the top 30, top 40. Those kind of decisions, simple ones that were just complete errors. Not like, hindsight, could have traded this guy. Like Tommy Talau, not a great scorer. Alamotti, an okay scorer at least. So those kind of things are really cool. But so the squad right now, as I said, 12 players I'm really happy with, and then plenty of decisions to make. Tommy Talau likely going to be around 16 scorer. So ridiculous for the squad there. Sitting at 10 trades, guys, and 48 in the bank. So into this week, as I said, probably 3 trades are going to be made. I can't believe there's 210,000 teams now. So that includes obviously all the ones that get made constantly as we go. And let's go and have a little shout out to our leader, Nigel, who pulled further clear. So I had 866. He got 878 in that one. So a very good score again, and then pulls away just a little bit more. And we had a big score from Todd here at 894 in second. And there was a decent one a little bit lower. I think Dane had like a 960. And that included a couple of low ones in there. Obviously, DeBellin getting hurt, still has Cleary. Actually, no Cleary. I'll scratch that. I was looking at the wrong team. This one had a crazy. Asako on there. Robson, Buller, Harris on the bench to go along with all the good scores there. Had Graham, had Dylan Edwards, and still scored great. That's that one there. Sorry, Dana. It was one of them I was looking at. They had heaps, all the low players, but still had over 900. So Nigel there. So my squad value personally is 13.84, which I think is fairly high. Obviously not right up there with all the top guys here at 14.3, over 14 mil. There's a couple of teams here, 13.7, over more than Dano there. Majority of the guys ahead of me on that. I can't believe Oho is so high here at 16. Has been there the whole year, but just continues to score really well. 13.4 when you've got Bob here in 17th at 14.37. So very crazy. And I really implore you guys to have a look if you are somewhere in the top 1,000. Look at guys around you. Look at guys in that top 100 and see how many trades they have left, because I think it's pretty ridiculous right now. How low some of these guys. And of course, Nigel is not. I think he's at a similar spot to me, about the 10 trades left. Used the one this week, I believe, to get Cook in and use his cash available. So use a couple hundred of that to bring in Cook, and he's sitting in a good position. Obviously, sitting there with Cleary, with Jack DeBellin is obviously the 2 big ones. Does not have Brown, so he's in a bad position than me that way. Had Hopgood, Moses, and Gutho on the bench, not playing this week, was obviously helpful as well. A good score at 878, and it's very hard to catch up to these top guys. If you're wanting to get in the top 1,000, that's not too crazy to get into, but these top 50 guys have really high squad values, and unless they've gone super ridiculously hard with trades, it's going to be hard to run them down. But the guys that have pumped their trades, you should be able to overtake them or get close to. Before they get their 8 trades back. If you can get close to them then you should be fine by that point. So overall, sorry, just so I didn't go through the amount of points we are behind. We are 421 behind my squad there from the top team, but then 260 behind Todd in second place. So that's good. And Todd's got a little lead on Dion there. But if you look down to the 10th position, in Danielle from the JBFA crew at 12,706. I am 166 behind 10th place, which is pretty crazy. It's not that far away, and a few good weeks there. And if I can continue to keep catching up to these guys, then I'll do a good job. 869 for Danielle. 897. A lot of these guys obviously did really well and made some ranks, but an 801 here, obviously a few weeks like that, and it's going to be very easy to catch up to those type of players. So that's that. We'll speak about Dave, who is up into 21st spot. Not a lot of trades available, I hear, on the grapevine, the head-to-head matchup was against Dave there, and it was a ridiculous one. If I lost this one, I would have been absolutely spewing. We ended up tying at 866 each, and coming into the final updates, I was up by 20. He then had Preston, so got an extra 10. He had Eli Katoa, who traded in this week, got an extra 6. And then Harry Grant got an extra 4. I went down 2 with Trent Liero. I went up 1 with Teddy and up 1 with Lukey. And that meant an even 20 split that he caught up to me with. If I lost that by 20, if anyone in the comments, let me know if you've had a lead of 20 or more and coming into final updates and you lost. Let me know. That would be ridiculous there. Sitting in a good position overall, guys. Private group into first in my community, 16th for myself there. Coming second in that Gargarov. I think I was first until the updates there. I won the hand-to-head one. Beat Eddie, Steady's in the bin by 46, who still had a good week. First in that one, and beat Gumby by a fair bit. Unfortunate for AFG Gumby there, but let's go to the podcast league. First in that. First time all year we move into first position. Woohoo! 16 ahead of Christopher, who had a really good week as well at 857. So I was just ahead of Chris before this week started, which obviously helped. Eddie had a solid week as well, but I was obviously ahead by, 25, 30 on Ed before this week, 820, but it was Stuart that had the big drop, unfortunately for him, at 772. And, Cleary is captain. That hurt for him. Bateman brought Bateman in and had Isaiah Papali'i as well, who ended up at 51. But it's really just the other guys down below. Payne Haas, 47. Smith, Burton, Lukey, all kind of underperformed what you would have hoped for, and has no Johnson. Yeah, that's the big one there. So SJ, obviously Bateman kind of covered that with the 85, but no Hines in there for 64. Hines ended up with a pretty good score this week at 64 in the end, and no Teddy to go along with that. So that's where the low score came from. We had Scoop in there, who had a very interesting decision. I can't wait to talk to him about that decision, to be honest with you, but it worked out better than what he could have hoped for. He ended up with 22 extra points. He had DeBellin and Cleary left in that game. And then it says that the captaincy was on DeBellin, which over 4% of people captained JDB this week, which I found very interesting. Obviously, you could just have your vice and then, Cleary be a captain, but obviously you got lucky. If he thought JDB was going to score better, then sure, but I wouldn't have thought that would be the case, and he did, obviously with the injury, but 785 for him there with Johnson with the triple, and only played with 16. So there's that to keep in note. That you'll be able to do better going from there. TK had a good one for those listening to his pod. He obviously does not have Cleary, so 861. Pretty cool that I was still able to grab him, considering I had Cleary and he did not. So that was cool on my end. A few decent scores down below. Obviously some catch-ups from Ryan after the head-to-head ban. 830 from Jace there. Jack 857. Scott down there at 820. So that's where we're at here. Obviously, Marky Boy, we usually check in on, an 814, so it was an okay score. The Fisher-Harris game didn't, work out too great. That trade hasn't worked out great yet. Hopefully, he has a big one when it really matters in those buys. But and then brought in Meany for 44. I can't believe how many attacking stats he had and still got that score, and then changed from Hines to Cleary. So it shows that it is a big game of luck for the most part, guys. Like Cleary there. Hines was 62. He got the extra ghost, 2 points. Cleary was on track to probably score 80 or something. So it's just unfortunate how it works out sometimes. And hopefully, majority of the luck has been going my way of recent time with trade-ins and stuff like that. And I think I'm a lot smarter than I was last year, which is good. And I hope you all are as well. Definitely some bonehead decisions last year compared to this year, if we're just looking at that. But at the end of the season, we'll obviously go through all of those decisions. I feel like I started not great with some decisions, and thankfully it turned it around. 5th in the Cowboys overall, which is very, very cool. 25th in the Talking League pod. A lot of people in that one, so good on them there. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the People Squad now. Just like my head-to-head opponent, Dave, the People Squad got some nice updates with Grant going up 4, We had Preston up 10 there, which worked out really well. But just before I go any further, guys, a few people asking me how I get the top 1,000 numbers, and it's this site called Yet Another Fantasy Site. So YAFSS.com, and it's actually, just tracks the top 1,000 after trades have been locked in, decisions have been made. It obviously will follow what's kind of squads are sitting there. Sorry, what trades are sitting there even before they're locked out. So it might have a smaller amount, and then people will lock them out and make that trade just before the game. So these are a few things here you don't actually see on the phone, which I mainly look at through the weekend. But the average salary cap is at 13.6 in the top 1,000. Team value is 13.4, which just means salary cap plus team value plus the extra in the bank. Average trades left at 9.1. So that's actually good to see. I wonder where that number is if they show that. Average money in the bank is 150k, which is pretty crazy. Total points versus trades remaining. It's got that little scenario there. It'd be cool to have a look at for sure. Trades used last round. So there was actually 37% of people used 3 or 4 trades. So people are launching in that number. This is where it shows a popular trade in. So 307 people bought Turpin in. 217 Olapu. Plenty bought Manu back in, which would have been a frustrating trade in. And the bulk of everyone traded out Bird, basically. Except for Scoop, apparently. So that's that. It's been interesting to have a little league. Savers PNG. Yeah, okay. So you can't actually look at it in a further thing there. But average trades left at 9.1. That's very interesting. So I'm above the average on trades left. There you go. So it's good to note where you're at there. If you're sitting at 10 or above, you're probably in a better position than most. So that is good news there. So let's just finish off with the People Squad. 821, we won our Community Cup by about 25, I believe. I think 795 the guys are up against. We're in second in that second position there. It'd be interesting if we turn into a straight head-to-head league and then just completely head-to-head team and just win that and kind of come 2,000 overall, or we still focus on overall. And I think, we're definitely an overall team. I think we can win the Community Cup whilst playing overall. What do you guys think? Holding Grant, not good, 39, Haas, 47. So if you held both of them, most likely you didn't score amazing. We captained Cleary. We had Nicarima, which was good news. We had Walshy, one of the Origin guys that we held and did a good job. Trade in Turpin was awesome. Fisher Harris, a decent trade in, just didn't work out. So definitely not complaining with the moves that we made in the squad. I think we brought Joey Manu back in as well, didn't we? So that was frustrating. All great trades, just didn't work out for the most part. In terms of our potential trade outs, we have DeBellin and Cleary who are going to be out. So with us having, I think, we're down to 9 trades we are, and a decent amount in the bank there. What is it? 169. So it's okay. Turpin in was a great move. Obviously, Grant Cook. 2 hookers. We have the 3 hookers now. Turpin will be our guy in 16. If we're looking at cover for mids, we have Fisher Harris. We have Hopgood that could play that. We have Lukey Preston in the edges. Do we want to bring a Bateman or an IPAP in? What are we going to do in our halves position? We have Oluwapu at this point. Nicarima won't play 16, so we'll need one more for round 16. Is that a Mitch Moses for Cleary time? Decisions will be made there. Obviously, centre, we have Billy Smith-Manu again. Wing fullback, it's Bullard, Drinky, and do we need one more? No, we've got Garrick. So we're pretty well covered for 16 as well for the most part. Just kind of tinkering with getting the best scorers on the park is where we're going to be at for the People Squad. And we'll see you in the Discord to make those decisions. If you don't know how to do that, guys, make the decisions for the People Squad, that is, just jump in the Discord and you'll be able to find that in the People Squad section, guys. So good luck with your teams this week, and hopefully team lists are kind, because we definitely need it.